Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well today. And in this video, we're going to be continuing on from a series that we started a few weeks ago where I went into a restaurant called the Huron River Inn, and I basically reviewed every aspect of the restaurant, of the building and everything from an autistic person's point of view. And I thought that's a really cool series. A lot of you all seem to like it, so I wanted to keep continuing with it. So yesterday I went to a restaurant called The Hills Fork or Pour, and it's a bit of a tongue twister, and when we kept talking about it, I was so confused about the name, and when I was typing it online, I was so confused. It was just such a tongue twister of a name. So it's pretty confusing, but I'm gonna put the website and everything in the description if you want to check it out. It's located in Irish Hills in Michigan. And it's basically, some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not have. It's a bit of a ways, but it's a bit of a drive out of Detroit and the Detroit area. So it's like in Lenawee County, and it's like, it used to be a really famous vacation area where people used to go, like, they had different attractions. I know there used to be a dinosaur place, there used to be a Wild West place where they did reenactments. Sadly, nowadays it isn't as popular, or it's not as big of a destination anymore, but it used to be back in my parents' day anyhow. So, but, we still like to go out there. I really love going out there because of the scenery. It really reminds me a lot of my home in Tennessee. And so we like to go out there, and a family friend of ours told us about this restaurant that I'm going to be reviewing today, and she told us to check it out. So I wanted to do a review on it and, let you all know what I think about it from someone with autism and my point of view, and whether it's good or bad, and we're going to dive into it right now. So to start off, and we're going to start from like what I saw from the moment that we pulled into the parking lot all the way to when we left, okay? So, and then at the end of the video, we're gonna do a big, like, we're gonna grade things on, like, whether food, we're gonna grade it on food, on atmosphere, noise, lighting, basically anything for, someone with autism, how it might affect someone, whether it's the food, the noise, the lighting, basically if you have autism, or if any of your family members have autism, this video is basically here to tell you what you can expect from this restaurant or what you cannot expect, basically stuff like that, so you can be prepared if you have autism and you're interested in checking out this restaurant. I'm gonna leave a review whether I think it's worth going or not, so stay tuned. So I'm gonna explain my experience from like I said, from the moment that we pulled in to the moment that we left, basically. I'm not gonna go that far into detail, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna go into the basics, or the important stuff. So we pulled in, and the first thing that's really cool about it is it's right in front of a lake, or I guess I should say it's on the other side of the road from a lake, and it's, that right away is pretty cool little scenery that you get to see a bit of a lake from there. And they do have a patio outside where you can eat outside. Of course, I prefer not to eat outside because of bugs and stuff, and I'm just more of an indoor person than an outdoor person. That's just me personally. But if you do like to eat outside, if you like patios, and they've got that, so you could enjoy, you could eat your food and watch, look at the lake and all that, watch the cars pass by on the highway. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice little piece of scenery. I do enjoy the water. So that's really cool. The first thing, though, when I walked into the building, and this is something that, I hate to say, but it's kind of a negative, is that I don't know what it was. I wasn't really looking at it because it was so bright, but there was a really bright neon light that was right in front of me as soon as I walked into the door. And as someone with autism, I'm really sensitive to lights, bright lights, all that stuff. So to me, I had to look away, and that was already, not a very happy thing to have to see right when I walk in, is really bright light almost blinding me. And so I think there were some lottery tickets over there, I think, because I saw some a pull tab machine that was right next to that light. So I wasn't really looking at it because I wanted to look away, but yeah, so that's one thing you have to know right away. There's that really bright neon light there, and it's so bright. It was like I had to look away, and it's like that's not something I want to have to do right when I walk into a restaurant. So that's the first thing I noticed that I wasn't very happy about. So, we found a table, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, but I always like to have a table as far away from the crowds and the noise as possible. So we found a pretty good table away from from the people. It wasn't really crowded. We went there around 1 o'clock, I think, or yeah, I think it was around 1 o'clock we got there. So it was, the lunch crowd was still there a little bit, but it was starting to thin out. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, there were a few people there. But our table was pretty nice, wasn't very loud. Here's something I should tell you. So there is a bar there as well, and that's part of the name, I guess. It's called the Hills Fork or Pour. So I guess, because they pour drinks. So there is a bar there, like in the first video. I mentioned how the other restaurant had a bar as well. So that's another thing you have to know, is that there will be a bar, there will be alcohol, and there will be people potentially, with, having consumed alcohol. So that's something you need to know. Although thankfully when we were there, no one was at the bar, no one was drinking. So it wasn't really loud, and, there weren't any loud, crazy people, inebriated, is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, there weren't any people drunk or anything, so that was okay. That was good. So that was okay. Although again, that's still something you should know about for the future. Is if you don't like being around bars or alcohol, there is that possibility that you could go, especially if it's probably on a Friday night or something, or really like busy day or something. You might have people drinking, on a weekend or something at night. I don't really know the hours. I didn't check their hours, but I guess I'm gonna leave all the information in the description about it. So yeah, I'm sure you can check the hours. Basically, I would recommend going during the day, of course. That's when we always go. Sometime between lunch and dinner, like around 2-3 o'clock-ish would be best, because that's when it's not as crowded as it will be. So it wasn't too noisy. The only thing, there was some noise like coming from some music. I think they were playing some music. Of course, I always have my headphones on when I go out in public, so I could still hear it. It was there were a couple songs that started to get annoying to me, because I could still kind of hear a little bit of noise through the headphones. But it wasn't that bad. Like, it didn't ruin my experience or cause me anything major discomfort or anything. But it started to get on my nerves. Of course, when I finally got to eat my food, thankfully the noise, I basically drowned all that out because I'm busy eating. And so, the waitress was nice. Our waitress was really nice. She was friendly and everything. And another thing is, the food did take a little bit of a while to make, which was kind of surprising considering it wasn't that busy. But I don't know, I suppose I don't really know how it worked making it and everything. But it did take about 15 or 20 minutes to make, which wasn't too bad, but could have been better, I suppose. So what I got was the chicken, I think they're called the chicken chunks or something, where they're like white meat in breading and stuff. They're like I guess I'm trying to think of how big. I think they were about this big-ish, or maybe a little, I'm trying to think. Like, they weren't huge, but they were like, I guess like this big or so. Although it wasn't this shape, but it was, I don't know. It's hard to describe. But they weren't like popcorn chicken, but they weren't super big either. It was more in the meat in the middle. So I got them, and I got the tater tots as well with it. And my dad got the fish, and he also got tater tots as well, because we heard the tater tots were good. Unfortunately, the tater tots, for me personally, I didn't really like, because they were really crispy, and I don't really like too much crispy stuff, or not super crispy. So it was really like I had to tear apart the tater tots in order to make it easier to chew, because if I popped a whole one in my mouth, it would hurt my teeth and all that. I don't want to damage my teeth, so I really didn't want to have to do that. So the tater tots weren't that great. That's gonna bump the score down a bit. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess the flavor was okay of them. They tasted okay. They're like regular tater tots, but they weren't as good as I thought they were gonna be, considering they were recommended to us. But the chicken, now this is where the place really shines. The chicken is really good. It was like, I think some of the best chicken I've had in Michigan here. Like, I'm trying to think. It was pretty juicy. It was really, like, easy to chew, of course. It was really good. It tasted really good. The breading was really tasteful. It had a lot of great flavor. So I definitely think the chicken was great. That makes it awesome. So We loved that. My dad had the perch, and he gave me a little piece of it to try, because I always like to try the fish. So he gave me a small piece of it, and from what I could tell of that, it was really good. I liked that. The perch was good, and he was happy with his perch that he got, because he ate the rest of it, so he liked that. He also got the tater tots, and he felt the same way as me. He didn't really like how crispy they are, or how hard they were, so... the tater tots, I wouldn't recommend them unless you really like super crispy tater tots, I guess. Then you could get them. But for someone who doesn't want to have 2 rocks, basically, then I wouldn't recommend them. But the chicken, yes, a lot of flavor, it was just really good. It's, yeah, it's chicken. It's fried chicken, breaded chicken. Really good, really flavorful, really nice to chew. Really, it was a great meal for sure. The chicken was a great meal. I didn't really get anything for dessert. We just had my dad had the fish, I had the chicken, and we had our tater tots. So I didn't really have anything else. But they have a lot more different types of food. They have burgers, they have ribs, they have other types of fish as well. They have pizza, I think. And of course they have desserts and probably some more stuff. I didn't look at everything, but so they have a lot of variety. I don't know how good any of that stuff is. Like I said, all we tried was the chicken and the fish. But as for the what's it called, the atmosphere, the decorations, I should say, the lighting and the look of the place. In terms of decorations, there really wasn't many decorations or much to look at. I mean, they did have some TVs on. I think there was a game playing, and they didn't really have much in the way of decorations. It was kind of, I guess boring would be the word. Like, not really much to look at or do or anything there. But the lighting wasn't too bad. It was a pretty nice lighting. Nothing too bright, aside from that first light that I mentioned, and right when we walked in the door. But when we were sitting at our table, everything was okay in terms of lighting. Nothing too bad there. So that was all pretty good. So I think I pretty much covered everything. The only other thing that we did do is we went to the bathroom to wash our hands, and the bathroom seemed okay. The only thing that I really didn't like about that were there were some urine stains on the toilet, which wasn't too happy to see, but I suppose for the rest of it was okay. For the men's bathroom, of course. But yeah, seeing those stains weren't really appetizing though, so take that as you will, I suppose. But I think overall, besides from that, it was a better bathroom than the one at Huron River Inn. The other one was the Huron River Inn bathroom was a lot worse. I would never go back in there again. But, overall, I think I would give the restaurant probably about an 8 out of 10. The chicken was great. The tater tots, not so great. The atmosphere, like the environment, inside the restaurant was pretty nice for the most part. A little boring. The waitress was nice. The lady was really nice. So I would definitely recommend going there. At least for the chicken, for sure. The tater tots, I wouldn't recommend that unless you want to eat hard tater tots. Next time when we go, we'd probably get something else aside from them. But we do plan on going back for sure next time we go in that area, because sometimes we do go out there. We like to go visit the antique stores out in Irish Hills and all that. So we'll probably go back out there again. So I would recommend going there and, yeah, at least checking it out, seeing what the food is like. But those are some things you need to be aware of, just in case, And, yeah, if you have any questions for me about the restaurant that I didn't cover, or if you have any other restaurant suggestions or ideas for me, let me know. And I appreciate you all watching this video. Thank you so much, and hope you all have a great day. Thanks.